Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. So let's talk about signs that he may not love you anymore. Um, Unfortunately, this is something that I get quite frequently in my one-on-one coaching sessions. People coming to me and asking, what are some of the signs that he may not love me anymore? I'm investing so much time into this relationship and I feel like it's not being reciprocated. I just feel like he doesn't really care, that he's emotionally distant. There's a lack of intimacy. There's so many different things, so many different facets to a relationship that it could be difficult to identify some of the fundamental or primary things that would indicate that a person may no longer be in love with you. And that's usually when we hear that age-old phrase of "I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore." So let's go over some of these things, right? Signs that you should be on the lookout for. Now, I want to be clear and I want to clarify that individually, some of these things may not necessarily point to him not loving you anymore. It could just be something that he's going through on a personal level that he has not wanted to share yet. It is possible that there is some kind of work-related issues that are going on. There may be some insecurities that he hasn't fully dealt with. So just keep it in perspective. I don't want you to jump to conclusions based on these signs, but usually in culmination is when you may want to have that conversation with your partner or come to the realization that things may be a little bit different dynamically than they used to be. So let's get right into some of these signs. The first one is that he is more distant and withdrawn. So he is not sharing a lot of information with you. He's not as touchy as he used to be. There's an obvious physical distance between the two of you guys, emotional distance. And this is one of those things that it can be difficult to pinpoint if your partner already is kind of an introverted, shy type of person. What I am saying here is that if there's an obvious change in behavior and it's something that you have picked up on, it is something to be cautiously and consciously aware of. So that pulling away is usually a preparation phase for your partner. I don't want to say that's the case for every single person, but in a way, they are emotionally preparing themselves to no longer be in a relationship with you. So they are starting to pull away emotionally in preparation for that. The second one is he doesn't have any patience anymore. He doesn't really empathize with you. He's very short-tempered. He rushes you through things. If you make a mistake, he calls you out on it. He's pointing out your flaws all the time. There just doesn't seem to be a level of support that there once used to be, right? So he's not supporting you emotionally. He's not understanding you. He's not having productive and effective and efficient conversations with you. And he's really just not trying to empathize with you at this point, because for him, it's possible that in his mind, it's over and he's no longer happy and he wants to, on a subconscious level, push you away. Because by pushing you away, it is possible that you will make the decision to leave and he doesn't have to do that himself. Again, this is a very specific circumstance. I've seen this happen before, which is why I'm using it as an example, but that does not necessarily mean that that is your case in particular. It's just something that I've observed. The third thing is that he prioritizes everything else except for you. So he prioritizes his friends, his family, his work, his hobbies, the things that he is wanting to do. So it's almost like they are starting to become a little bit more individual. They're thinking more as an individual, and they're pulling away from the relationship in regards to that partnership and that couple feeling, right? So they are reserving their energy for themselves and the things that they want to do. And oftentimes what I find is that people start to do this when they are unhappy in the relationship and they are getting to a point where they're recognizing or realizing that they need to reinvest in themselves and they need to pull away and they need to do things that make them happy and try to kind of gain their sense of independence and identity back. So if you are noticing that your partner is pulling away in that regard and they're spending more time with other people and they aren't making you a priority, that is another sign and another primary sign that there may be some things going on emotionally in regards to them detaching from you emotionally. The fourth one is he no longer wants to have sex, right? There is no longer that chemistry, that attachment, that intimacy going on. And again, once an individual starts to emotionally detach, then the physical aspect of it usually follows. So if you are still having sex, but it's not as frequent as it used to be, and it just feels very disconnected and very robotic and like it's a chore or a duty, that is something that you want to be consciously aware of as well. Because in the bedroom, sex and intimacy and all of those things is really kind of where we are able to be the most vulnerable with our partners and have that deep emotional connection. So if that is lacking and that has completely changed and it is obvious that that has changed, again, something you want to be on the lookout for. The fifth one is he doesn't involve you in his life anymore. He doesn't invite you out with his friends. He doesn't invite you out to work events. He doesn't invite you to his family's house. He really just kind of does things on his own as an independent free agent. And oftentimes what I have found is that individuals who are contemplating whether they should leave a relationship, right? Do they want to break up with their significant other? They've already established or they've already made up in their mind that they want to lead a different life. They're already thinking about their life as a single individual. So once they get into that pattern and they start to live their life in the relationship as if they are single, we start to see things like them disinviting their significant other or just not really making them a priority or even thinking to invite them to anything. It may not necessarily be a conscious decision. It's just become a subconscious thing because they have already moved on in their mind. And the last and final one is he does not respond to your texts or calls anymore. This is a frequent one. I've seen this quite often where, your spouse is usually very receptive. You send them a text, they respond to you. If they're out too late and you're concerned and you send them a message and they respond and they say, no, I'm okay, everything's fine, I'll be home by this point or at this time. If none of that is happening anymore and you just aren't getting any responses from your partner, and this is a big one. So on iPhones, I have an iPhone, so this is how I know how this works. I'm not 100% sure with Androids or other phones, but there is an option to see read text. So if you guys have that option on and you see that he read the text, but he never responded to you, that's not necessarily a good thing, right? That means that he read your message and he just didn't have the energy or the need or the desire to respond. So again, that is another sign that he is potentially over the relationship and probably not necessarily wanting to continue. If you related to this video, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you have any questions, I love having open dialogues with people. Please make sure you leave your comments down below. So if you feel like you got something out of this video, or maybe you think that there was something that I missed. If you just want more details and you want to know a little bit more about this subject, you can visit us at happilycommitted.com, where we have a multitude of different articles and blogs and videos related to this topic and many other topics as well. If you want to book a one-on-one coaching session with myself or any of the other amazing coaches that we have on the team, you can book directly through the website as well. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.